Yo, what's up everybody? Amber here, and I'm back with another video. This video we're going to be doing the dash system. But before we do that, I have something to announce. We finally got monetization. Let's go. And with monetization, I don't really know how far we're going to go with it. But if we do get anything, you know, I'm going to be probably putting that into kind of like an award for like the monthly review stuff. So I'm just gonna be giving it back to you guys, you know, because I don't really have a need for that type of thing, you know. I'm just here to help people out. So yeah, now let me go show you guys the completed system. So I'm just gonna run. Alright, so it's just a little dash with some effects and particles, right? I don't really agree with like the new Roblox grass texture, or the grass material, but whatever. As you can see, it's all pretty smooth. And yes, this time I actually made it replicate to clients, so everybody should be able to see these effects. So let's get into coding it. So first thing you want to do is set everything up. So let's make a map folder and just put everything in the map inside the map folder. We're also going to make an effects folder in the workspace. We're also going to make a effects folder in the replicate storage, and we're going to add a remote event. This is the remote that we're going to be using for this, so I just call it like dash remote. The two VFX today are a sphere model and a little dust model. So let me show you guys those. Oop. So the dust is just emits dust, and the sphere is literally a sphere. I'll give you guys the dust particle. I'm sure you guys can figure out the sphere mesh. You know what? I'll just put both. I'll put both, the entire effects folder, and you guys can just click on the link and download. So we are also going to need a local script in the starter character scripts, and a server script in the server script service. So you can go ahead and name those. Cool. And we're also going to need 4 animations for your dashes: back, front, left, right. Make sure that these animations are all on the action priority, and you just put it in a folder within the dash script. Or matter of fact, you can just put the animations folder in the replicate storage. This is actually better. Okay, cool. Now that we have everything set up, we can start the script. So we're gonna go to our local script, right? And we're gonna start it as usual. We're gonna define the player and the character. We're gonna be using 3 services today. User input service, that's for detecting inputs like keys, pressing, and like clicking, and like every user input is gonna go through this. Run service, that's like it's kind of like, actually I don't think we need run service, my fault. Yeah, no run service. We are gonna use tween service though. That's for like animating the little wind effect, the little lines. I'm gonna reference the remote, which is right here, and the effects folder, which is right there. We're also gonna reference the animations, and we're gonna also make some Raycast parameters for the little particle stuff, so like that. I'm just making a Raycast parameter. I set its filter type to whitelist. That means it ignores everything but the stuff in the list, and we only want the ray to hit like the map. We don't want it to like run on like players and stuff. Cool. Now that we have everything ready, we can just do the UIS stuff. So once our input begins, connect function input game processed event. If it's a game processed event, or like the player's typing or something, then we can just straight up return in. That means we just stop the code there. Otherwise, if our input key, I guess, is, you can change this key to whichever key you want, but I'm gonna do Q, and it's not currently, oh yeah, we should probably add a cooldown variable, so yeah, a debounce. So right now, debounce is false. That means we're not, we're allowed to run this code right here. And we're not in our little debounce, then debounce is equal to true. That means yes, we currently are running this code, therefore we should not let it be run again, right? We're also gonna make a little blank variable called animation and create a velocity for the player called V. You can change that to whatever. The maximum force of this velocity should just be something like this: a very big number, 0, and then a very big number. I put a 0 here so like the force doesn't like make your player float or anything. Yeah. So now we're gonna detect if the player is pressing the W key or if our player's not moving. If the player isn't moving or is like pressing the W key, then therefore we should do the frontwards dash. So we set the animation to the animations.front. Animations.front, right? Then we set our velocity to go in front of the player. So humanoid root part.cframe.look vector. That's just like the direction that the humanoid root part is looking in, times 50. That's the magnitude of the force, how strong the force is gonna be. So we're gonna do that for every key now. And I'll just like copy this. If it's D, right, if we're pressing the D key and the Q key, then the animation is the right animation, and it's the right vector times 50. And that what this means is, instead of the direction that the humanoid root part is looking in, it's that direction that the right side of the humanoid root part is looking in. So yeah, it would be times 50. A is like literally the same thing as D, except we multiply by negative 50. So negative power, negative magnitude. So it's in the other direction, it's in the leftward direction. And then S is it's the same concept, but with the front. Cool. Now that we have all that, we should play that animation and get rid of the velocity. We don't want to get rid of the velocity right away. I'm going to make it last for 0.3 seconds using the debris service. And then we also want to tell the server that, hey, I did this dash. And then since I did this dash, we should tell all the other players that we did this dash. And we're going to set the cooldown of this to 0.4. 0.4 is the cooldown. And after that, we set our debounce to false. That means we can do this code again. So already the dashing should work. If I run this, I should be able to like dash around. My animations play. Cool, right? But there's like no effects. So we gotta fix that. The way we do that is we go on our little server script here and we wait for the dash remote. Not dash, wait for it, we just like reference it. And then when our little remote is fired and we receive an on-server event, then we connect to this function. The first parameter is always going to be client. If you looked over here, from our fire server, we fired our character and the direction. of the velocity, right? So client, character, and then velocity. So velocity. Oop. Crap, I keep on forgetting to make this bigger. So once we have this information, we are gonna fire a remote, the remote to all the clients, and we're gonna fire a little data table, character equal to character, action is equal to dash. This is in case I do anything else in the future regarding dashes and stuff. Direction is just the velocity. Now, we didn't really do anything else on server because we don't really have to. There's not really a need to. So, yeah. The only thing that I would suggest maybe doing on your own is if you're doing an anti-cheat, you want to make sure that we're not spamming the dash remote over and over. And we also want to make sure that the character isn't like trying to send weird information, like just trying to make the game look terrible by firing this all the time for random characters and random directions. You don't want that to happen. So you could do some sanity checks there, but I'm not gonna do too much there since I don't think it would do anything. So now that we're back to the client, right? We fired client. We want to make all the little effects. So remote on client event connect function, and we sent a little data table. So I'm going to store that in a parameter called data. So if our action happened to be dash, right, then this is where we do all the little effects. So I'm going to reference the humanoid root part of the character. I think this does work for R6. Yeah, it should work for R6 as well. So yeah. Now I'm gonna do a little loop for the lines. Oh wait, no. I'm gonna run this, I guess, 20 times. You can change this to how long you want the effects to last for. I'm gonna make the little speed lines now. And what I'm gonna do is, out of these 20 times that we run this effect, every time you'll have a 1 out of 3 chance of, it's not 1 out of 3. You have a chance of spawning 1 to 3 wind effects. And since we run it 20 times, that's the maximum being like 60, and the minimum being 20, right? So I'm gonna grab my little sphere, fx.sphere, clone it. I parent it to the workspace.fx folder right there. I set its anchor to true, that's so we can tween it. Can collide to false, so it doesn't hit anything. Transparency to 0, so we can see it. You don't really have to name it, I just named it, I guess. You can change HB to whatever you want this effect to be called. I just call it HB because this was just copied from somewhere, and I didn't change the variable name, but I would recommend changing this to something like wind effect. And I set its material to neon, and I set its can query to false. That means no rays can hit it. And I set its size to something very small and somewhat long. And then I'm also going to do the color randomization code right here. There's a 1 out of 3 chance for it to be black, and the other times it's going to be gray or white since it's neon. Now I want to position this thing so that it's facing the direction that I'm facing, and it's at where my character is. So here's the C-frame logic for that. It's at our character's position, but it's pointing towards the direction of our velocity. And then we also want it to not just be in the center of our character, we want it to go off just a little bit. So we want to multiply that by cframe.new, math at a random, -25 to 25 over 10 on the x-axis, y-axis, -4 to 2, And the z-axis, front and back, that's like -2 to 2. This is side to side, up and down, front and back. So now that we have everything positioned, we want to make sure this effect gets removed in 0.4 seconds or however long you want it to be removed in. And then I also want to play an effect. So tween service create. The object that we're going to be tweening or animating is this wind effect. How long is it going to last? The animation is going to last for 0.4 seconds. And then what are we animating like from this object? We're going to be animating its transparency, right? So transparency equals 1. We're going to tween its size. Size equals vector3.new. Or actually, you could just do vector3.0. And then we're also going to tween its C-frame or its position equals C-frame.new. Actually, we're going to do the current C-frame. I'm going to make it go in the just like behind current direction. It's going to go behind by 2 to 4 studs. Here, let me see if I can show you guys full script. There it is. TS create hitbox for 0.4 seconds. We're going to turn the transparency to 1, size to 0, and C-frame to current C-frame multiplied by 2 to 4 on the z-axis, meaning it'll go behind. Nice. Now we just gotta make the little particle effect. Let's see. For the particle effect, the first thing we gotta do is cast a ray down. That's how we do that. From our humanoid's root parts position, we cast a ray downwards and the -4 is just like the magnitude. If our ray, hits something, then we make a clone of the dust. We set the dust parent to workspace.effects and we C-frame it to the humanoid root parts position C-frame, just so that it's at the right direction. And then dust, we have to position it to where the ray is, so it's like on where the ray hit, you know what I mean? And then we want to change the color of this to what object our ray hit. So color sequence on you. You see this bracket right here? This is actually an angle bracket or one of those like curly brackets. See, so make sure you guys use that. I see you guys mess up with that a lot. So this one is an angle bracket, and so is this, the last one right here. The rest are normal parentheses, like right here and right here. So color sequence keypoint.new 0 ray.instance.color. So cool. That all works out. So now we want to emit the little particle. Emit it for 20. Honestly, you could probably lower this to 10 and it'll still look good. And we want to add the dust particle for like 2 seconds. And yeah, now since this is also a loop, we want it to wait a little bit between each cycle so that it can detect a change in the player's position and stuff. Let's run this code right now. Let's see what happens. Oh, as you can see, the lines kind of just stay there, right? It looks pretty cool, but that's not what we're going for. So how can we fix that? Well, just go in here. We actually have to play our tween. So colon play with the little parentheses there. Oh, there we go. As you can see, that all worked out, and let's go. You probably want to change the cooldown a little bit lower, higher. And the way you do that is go in here, see that 0.4, you can put a little comment, so like 2 dashes, and then just say this is a cooldown, or you can make a variable outside and then weight that variable. But yeah, 1 second cooldown. Let's see how it is. Nice. I think this is a lot better. I think it looks pretty nice. You can see the little dust particles below me, kind of. Yeah, there you go. You can see a lot better this way. And yes, it's like directional, so see the animation changes, everything works. And the color changes as well. If I go onto that little plate, see it's like a lighter gray. Yep. So that's it for this video, and as I said, guys, thank you so much for all the support. We finally hit monetization. That's pretty crazy. And as I said, I'll be using that to great effect. Hopefully, if we do, get anything from that, I can give back to you guys through the showcase contest thing, I guess, where I just go in and review your games. Yeah, I'm gonna make it a little bit more competitive than it was last time. I'll like actually do first place, second place, third place, you know what I mean? So I'll be actually rating your games. So yeah, make sure you guys like and subscribe, really helps me out. The more you guys like, the more you guys subscribe and comment and stuff, the more people can see these, and I hope this can help those people. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.